it is, ladies and gents. We're live. We're ready to rock and roll for another episode of the Business Bros. All right, ladies and gents, what makes you human? You know, it's those mental thoughts that you're placing in your head, and we got to make sure we put the right mental thoughts in your head so that you can take advantage of this beautiful thing that we call life. Let's get this show on the road. Here we go.
Shut up and sit down.
The Business Bros podcast was created for you. Learn from the business professionals who come to share their stories. Find out what's working in business, on social media, what's hot and what's not, straight from the mouths of successful entrepreneurs out there doing the real work. And now, welcome to another episode of
Business Bros. All right, ladies and gents, I am down one bro, but not out. He has his fire intro as usual. So James, take it away, bro.
All right, all you business pros out there, before we jump into the show, just a quick reminder, as always, to please subscribe on whichever platform it is that you're listening to us on today. Give us a like, give us a follow, subscribe, and drop a review. Help other like-minded business owners find value from our awesome guests while we rise up in those podcast rankings. We'll sincerely appreciate every single one of you for it, and if you want to be a guest on the show, we would love to have you on to learn from you as well. Go to www.businessbros.biz, schedule your time, and don't forget to follow us on all our social medias at Business Bros Pod. All right, everybody, we're so excited and honored to bring yet another incredible guest to the Business Bros Pod. Our guest today is a mindset coach who is helping women everywhere move from a place of self-doubt to self-trust, giving them the power to find and create clarity, energy, and purpose, and change their lives. With decades of experience in teaching, life coaching, and mentoring through fitness and health education, our guest is all about personal growth, positive psychology, and entrepreneurship. Nothing gets her creative juices flowing and fuels her fire more than knowing she's helping others create joyful expansion so that you can know yourself, be yourself, and free yourself. If you are tired of running out of time, energy, and money, tune in to hear how our guest can help you cultivate a growth mindset, clear your mind from thoughts of scarcity, and claim and own your innate confidence. Joining us today from She-Force out of Billings, Montana, welcome to the show, Aimee Carlson.
Thank you. Ooh, what an intro.
Right? I got to give you music. All right, now we're ready to rock and roll. Now we got that energy flowing. Aimee, welcome to the program. Thank you for joining me today.
Hey, thanks for having me today.
All right, let's hop into this thing. If you can explain what you do as simply as you could, like so that a fifth grader could understand it, how are you helping people today?
As short as I can make it, I help people figure out what's next.
I love that. It's simple, but not easy, right?
Yeah.
What's next?
Yeah.
What's next? You know, next is going to happen whether we plan for it or not. And I used to listen to this audio by Earl Nightingale it's about 30 minutes. It's called The Strangest Secret. It's an awesome little blurb into a day. But in one of those things that he talks about is how if you have a ship and there is no destination in mind, it's never going to leave the harbor. It might crash and end up in some deserted beach or derelict. That's what he says in the audio. And I feel like knowing what's next and just going to what's next, those are completely different things. How do we clarify that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So using your ship analogy again, too, it's also like setting the course, right? And so even if you're 1 degree off, you're not going to get to where you're going. So knowing it's that clarity piece. And that's where I really come in. Most people kind of know what they want to do, but it's the fear. It's almost like giving permission too.
I think it's huge permission. Yeah. I agree with you. Like people have an idea of where they want to go. And this is myself included, right? Yeah. But to say something that sounds ridiculous, right? So when people ask me like, what do you want to do? Dude, I want to be rich and famous. And saying that before, prior to my 30s, probably, I would never have I would never have said that out loud to anybody, much less because I wouldn't say that to anybody else. I'm not saying it to myself. Right. And is that what you mean by, getting that clarity and deciding which direction we want to go in?
Yeah, yeah, and then you have to have somebody to practice that with, right?
Mm,
So you know where you wanna go, or you know, but you're not letting yourself know it. And
mm.
then, with a coach, you can, like, practice that. Because just like you said, if you say it too soon before you believe it, and then you say it out loud, somebody's gonna knock it down so easy, and then you're not gonna pick it up again.
So true. And sometimes it's the people who are closest to you who are going to knock it down in trying to protect you.
Yeah,
Right. Like
true.
they don't want to see you hurt. They don't want to see you fail. They want to make sure that you're in the safest place possible, going in the direction that they feel is fit. So they don't see a vision that you see for yourself.
Yeah.
And because of that, they're coming from a place of love, maybe, but they're knocking down that dream that you want. Right. So having somebody outside of that space who's going to help you bring your dream to fruition, that's what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. And step one, you just start to, whatever it is we want, the reason we want it is because, we think we're going to feel better than what we do now
Mhm.
at the base level. And so once you know that you can start feeling good feelings, even 1% better than what you felt today, and you start feeling that inside, then that's how it starts to move outward. And then that's when people just kind of stand back and watch. They're not necessarily trying to hold you back anymore.
Mhm. They're starting. Well, it's you've given them wings, right? They're beginning to flutter and go out and do their thing. There's a lot of people right now who are going through that. We're going through this age that's being donned or designated, named, whatever you want to call it, the Great Resignation. So there's so many people who are leaving their traditional 9 to 5 jobs and saying, you know what, screw it. I'm either going to find a new job or I'm going to start this side hustle that I'm going to do, and I'm going to start to build something out of it because I don't know if I ever want to go back to that. I've tasted what life was like with a little bit of freedom and I like it. How do, I want to make sure I keep going. So with so many people out there that are going through this great resignation, how are you attracting customers, attracting new clients, people who are out there saying, you know what, I don't know what I'm doing. I wish I knew somebody who was capable of getting me to that next level. How are you finding those people with their hands up?
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty new to social media. Because I was one of those people too that decided, although I'd been life coaching, on the side, I didn't decide until 2020 that I was going to jump in with both feet. So I was right along with what a lot of people are going through now. So hopping on social media, getting in that game, and then just creating those relationships. But going that route, it takes time, which I totally get because people need to know, gosh, before I spend money on this, how do I feel about this person? How do I feel
Mm,
about the results they're saying that I can get? And that takes time. So to start off with, it was just people in my community that had known me through other things, and they knew that I did life coaching, and then more referrals from there, and just it's been a gradual. The waves are going out in little ripples here.
how's it been for you when you started to step into this social media game? Like, hopping on podcasts, going and meeting these people every single day, having a conversation, really working on that pitch, essentially finding out where people are at today, where they want to go, and then what are the obstacles in their way, right? I mean, that's really the dynamic that you're asking from every single customer that comes to you. So what was it like getting on this new virtual stage?
Yeah, I can tell you, coaching on mindset and coaching around confidence, those were the exact things that, I was coming up against in this what felt like, just a new really a new thing for me.
Mhm.
So, I get to practice every time I come on something new like this or, show up on a live on Instagram or something. I get to put my practice into practice. I get to practice what I preach and work on those very things that come up for myself. And I'll tell you, they continue to come up. The good thing is you start to learn, you catch them quicker when you've got a little mindset thing going on, and then you've got some tools about how to deal with it. But things are going to keep coming up, right? That's
Mhm.
just like you said, that's a human condition, when you did your intro, and that's just part of growth.
It
But
absolutely is. It
yeah,
absolutely is. And I agree with you with the mindset thing. See, in my experience in business, is the thing that always sets me back, the thing that had always held me back was, how do I get in front of more people and have this conversation? There was something in my mind that said, oh, picking up the phone, you don't like to do that. Oh, knocking on doors, you don't like to do that. I tried a lot of those, right? But the problem was I dabbled. I never committed to jumping in and doing something full force, saying, this is where my forte is going to be. This is where my excellence is going to be at. And yes, right now, I'm not very good at it. As a matter of fact, I'm very uncomfortable when I go out and put myself in positions where I normally have not been, but I'm committing to greatness and I'm going to work at it every single day. I'm going to work on that craft. I'm going to do what I need to put myself in a position to win more often, to see more opportunities. We're in the fourth quarter right now. There are a lot of people who are going to be making New Year's resolutions and planning for that next year. What are some of those things that they can do to get themselves in that proper mindset to maybe get themselves out of, what minimalistic ideas that they might have and put themselves in a position where they can see such abundance in front of them?
yeah. Well, you touched on this anyway, and this perfect lead in. It's that vision, just like what you had, in order to get you over those initial hurdles of like, this isn't comfortable, you
Right.
know? And so creating a vision about where you want to go. And that's not something that we're taught, like, or to practice that. But going forward, and especially right now, getting ready for a new year, taking a little bit of time to start to create a vision for, not just a vision board. Vision boards are cool, but also a vision for you, how you want to be, how you want to show up, what kind of emotional states do you want to be in more often, and really seeing that. And if you're a visual person and you need something in front of you to remind you of that, or if it's something that you want to write down, or whatever works for you, but you've got to create a vision. And without a vision, we can be so knocked off course. Going back to our ship analogy here, we can get
Mm-hmm.
knocked off course really easy, and come March, we we have no idea. We have no idea where we're at or what we even had in mind in January.
It's back to square one. Look,
Yeah,
it comes to for me, it's always the idea of consistency. Buy
yeah,
in, choose a direction that you want to go in. And you might not know exactly, but if you have a direction that you're going in, you're going to figure it out as you're going, right? I mean, I'll use the podcast, for example. This became my medium for communicating with people, whether it was people who are listening over the internet, or the people that I actually get to have a conversation with, like you, Aimee, right? I mean, I didn't know you prior to today, and now I get to know you. That is how I'm cultivating new relationships. This is how I'm taking action. And if you listen to episode 1, it was kind of trash. I wasn't very good. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I committed to being good at something. And now I've gotten better and better and better over time. And we're able to put on a show that looks well produced. I sound like I know what the heck I'm talking about. I feel comfortable behind the microphone. I'm not ashamed of my voice or the way I look or any of the mistakes when I flubber any sentence or whatever it is. I have much more confidence because of that commitment to excellence, the person that you're becoming. When you're describing that person that you want to become, part of that is the action, right? Part of that is what things are you going to do to become that person that you're describing in your vision. So who is this person that you are particularly looking for? And I guess the best way I would want you to describe it is, everybody has problems. What are the problems that you feel you can solve the most? And what does that client look like?
cool. So the problems that I can solve the most are, well, actually, I'm going to back it up. The person that I work with best is open to possibility.
Hmm.
So maybe they've already hit rock bottom in whatever it is for them, whatever that looks like, but they're starting to come out of that and they're hopeful. And so I work best with people that are hitting that, are bouncing back up and are on there. And in that bouncing up, they start to get perspective. They're starting to see and feel that there's more out there. And so yeah, just I know that I've learned I've got to be coachable. I've got to be coachable all the time. And that helps when I'm working with other people. Um, Open and a good sense of humor really helps. Goes a
I feel
long
like
way.
I feel
Yeah.
like there's a lot of us. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of us like that coming in 2021. I think there was,
Yeah.
in 2020 there was a lot of, well, we were sheltered, we were limited. We had to really change the way we did things. We adapted. We did a lot of online interactions with Zoom and video, and just like we're doing here today. And then 2021 came around, and we started to come back into public eye, right? And I feel part of that was almost redefining. And I'll give you an example. I teach high school in the morning, so I teach part time, right? And when I came back to work, we all not only felt a little different, a lot of us looked a little different, right? Like some of them during COVID time got into really great shape, and some of them didn't. And some of us aged significantly over the stress that was going on in that last year. I mean, you came back and everybody had a different look, which meant everybody had a different story and a different type of interaction. I feel like a lot of them are now emerging back into who they want to be. Like who, coming back on that bounce. And some of them are saying, you know what, this is not the career that I wanted. I'm going to go search somewhere else. This is maybe it's time that I start really focusing in on how I'm going to exit this particular W-2 job that I'm looking for. So I want to kind of narrow in what type of industry or what type of individual, age group, income bracket, what are we looking for your ideal client?
All right. I would say mostly, it's a lot women over 40 and moms, creative, curious. Um, some of them are empty nesters or about to be empty nesters. And that's like the big catalyst, the big change that's hitting home for them. Some of them are hitting retirement and they're saying, yeah, what's next? Some of them have just gone through a big career change, maybe a relationship change. It's some of those real key points. Yeah.
All right. Now that's something we could work with, right? Because
Yeah.
my mind is always thinking like a marketer. So that's where I'm
Yeah.
at.
Yeah.
And
Which
so
is
I got to
great.
be able to, if we're going to create some marketing material, because it really, really, Aimee, at the end of the day, every single episode that we do on the show is marketing material, right? Every different piece of segment. So I'm learning as much as I possibly can from you and what you're looking for, so that this content all of a sudden becomes useful, not just an episode on the Business Bros podcast, but a tool that you can use to go out and get more clients. So, all right. So let's focus at moms, empty nesters. What's next, right? That's kind of a great MO. So tell me a little bit about your sales process. So, if somebody, if all of a sudden mom's listening to this, right? And she's turning 40, her kids, are not quite, old enough. Maybe they're young teenagers heading into high school. She sees the end is in sight, doesn't really want to accept that yet, right? Because I'm not old, right? That's my kid's not grown up and about to be an adult. That's not me. That's not who I'm supposed to be. So I listen to your episode on the Business Bros, Aimee, and I want to work with you. How does that work? How do we get that process going?
Yeah. I set up a call, first of all. I like the personal, and I feel like for me, I always need a voice before I buy. There's something about that. I need to to connect. And it's just, so we set up a 30-minute call, and I tell them what I've got to offer. They tell me what they're, where they're at in life, what they're looking for, and we just see if we're a good fit. And then from there, if it's a good fit, then we just decide, is this a one-on-one coaching? Is this group coaching? Do you prefer to do, I've got a course. Do you want to just DIY this?
Mm. I like that. I like that because let's face it, it's when you're hiring a coach, it's kind of like dating. It
Yeah.
just is, right? Like
Yeah.
either this person is going to push you to that next level and you're going to, love to spend time with this person, or maybe you hate to spend time with this person, but in a necessary way. And you're going to commit and you're going to, move forward with this person. Like that's a dating process. You got to test the waters a little bit. Sometimes a little bit of speed dating can go a long way. You realize real quick, yes, this is a person I can jive with, or no, this ain't gonna work. So, a discovery call is a great way to do that. You got any promos or anything going on right now, giveaways or anything like that?
Ooh, well, I've got a new thing starting in 2022 that I'll just mention real quick, and then I'll get to promos. But I'm starting a new thing, and it's funny that you started off with a ship analogy, because that's exactly what my marketing is all going to be like, with a compass and this ship sailing into new waters. And it's for that woman that we just described. That's, what's next, probably an empty nester, but getting back to, who am I now?
Mm.
So it's going to be a 12-month group coaching, kind of relearning who I am type of thing, so that they can figure out what's next. But it's going to be pretty in depth, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So that's my new, it's going to be She Force Explore is what that's called. But promotionally, right now I am doing, so besides those 30-minute discovery calls, which people can hop on really more than once if they want to, I do have that course, and I ran a Black Friday special on it, and I just figured, why not keep that special going for the rest of the year? So my course and a session with me, $97.
Ooh.
Yeah.
$97.
I think we're all looking for a good deal at the end of the year.
Oh my gosh. And if that good deal, and here's the thing, like, I'll tell you a quick story. When I was, I must have been like 18 years old. Growing up, the only thing I knew about money was that we didn't have any, right? That was kind of a thing. And so around 18, my dad wanted to put us in a position where we had some, a good idea of what to do in life. So he hired a financial advisor to come over to the house. And he paid her $75 an hour. She was there for 2 hours. So when I saw him cut a check for $150, and I know we didn't really have that kind of money, I knew this was important. And she sat down with us and in 2 hours time went through our basically our bank accounts and was showing us how much money we're throwing away and wasting, different things that we can do. She asked us what our thought process was for going forward, like what's next, right? Yeah. And we were talking at the time, my brother and I were talking about moving out because, it's time to move out. That, we're a little bit older now. We want to get out of mom and dad's place. And we said, we're going to get an apartment and then get a couple roommates. And she said, that's a good idea. But what if, right? And this is where the seed gets planted. What if you were able to buy a house and then you rented the rooms? Then maybe the house value goes up and you sell the house later down the road, or one of you keeps it, and it's better investment than renting. Yeah. Right. And 18 years old, I'm thinking, lady, you're crazy. Like, ain't nobody going to sell me a house. Right. But she gave us specific steps going forward. Find a real estate agent, talk to a lender, turn in these paperwork. This is what you need to do. And all we did was follow the breadcrumbs that she laid down for us. And at 20 years old, James and I bought our first property.
That's awesome. Right?
That because somebody planted a seed and held us accountable to, this is what you said you were going to do. And because you said you were going to do it and you actually did it, you were able to reap some rewards, right? And so that's the story, I think, that a lot of times I feel like you're able to share with your people is, look, let me plant some seeds of a different opportunity.
Yeah,
And then let me hold you accountable to those next steps.
absolutely.
What do you think?
Yeah, and just like that woman coming into your house. I mean, that's cool. And what a great like how that unfolded for you. That's awesome. Um, but just that slight different perspective, however you get it. Maybe
Mhm.
it's an idea you have, when you're on a walk. Maybe it's somebody that comes to you with an idea, and it's getting out of our little box about what we think is possible. And so often we say we see somebody else doing it and we go, that's not possible for me.
That's the thing, right.
But yeah,
It's
now
because
we
our
see it.
mind, right? Our mind
Yeah.
literally absorbs whatever we tell it. So if we're telling it, I can't do that,
Yep.
it's impossible for me, then we're just gonna believe that anyways, right? I mean, who's in control of our mind anyways?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And to create those new thought patterns, it really is rewiring, conscious rewiring of your brain.
Mm,
But it's possible. And anytime we do something slightly, we change just a little bit of a habit, that is huge impact in our brain. And that's what I tell with my clients. I'm like, you got to recognize when you made that slight change. Number one, when you became aware that you were doing something that didn't really, follow that vision that you're setting for yourself, that awareness, and then you did something slightly different, you got to recognize that and celebrate that because, these brains up here, they're to rewire, it's a major thing. And when you take the time to notice that you've done that and then to recognize you can do it again, that's when the momentum really builds.
identifying that little freak in the closet, right? Something that's going on.
Yeah.
I love that analogy because I was literally in my closet today looking for an ugly sweater because it's that time of the year, right? And I'm looking through all my clothes and I look in there and I'm like, this is out of place. Something is not right there. And of course, it's because it's a shirt that my wife bought for me, not one that I bought. So it's out of place for me, right? Like it's a little thing. And our mind is designed to identify patterns. Something is off here, right?
Yeah.
And once you are able to see that thing that's off and you give it a name, you're like, ooh, this thing is not in line with my vision. Now you're aware of it and you're consciously making a different change. That's why I like the term things like, change have to get. Like I get to wake up today. I
Yep.
get to go, I get to have money problems. I get to have a car that doesn't work as good. I get to hop on the bus today. I get to do all these things because, that's a different mindset. All of a sudden, it's opportunity and gratitude that you're there for whatever the situation that you're in. Today in San Diego, it is windy, it is cold, it is raining. But you know what? I get to be outside today. I got to get wet in the rain today. Like there are people who are not waking up today.
Yeah.
There are people who are stressed out, depressed, anxious, all kinds of different things, unhealthy, right? Sick and dying. You get to do whatever you get to do today. And I think, words are powerful. That's what we got to put in our head. Aimee, before we head out, one more time, I know you said it before, but how can people get a hold of you if they want to work with you?
www.sheforcecoach.com is probably the easiest, or on Instagram at sheforcecoach. Message me on either of those. And if you're interested in just having a chat, that would be the best place to connect with me.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2022 is coming whether you want it to or not. It is on its way here. And towards the end of the year, these are great times for you to sit down and come up with a vision, right? And like I'm telling you right now, for me, it's not the easiest thing in the world. I'm still working on a vision for myself. I talk to different coaches literally either on the show or off the show about figuring this stuff out because as easy as it sounds, you know what you want to do. Self-awareness is not the easiest thing for most people. When you hear those gurus out there talking about how they're completely self-aware, that's a unique situation. Most of us, we're still trying to figure it out. And that's okay. But there are people out there just like Aimee, who are here to help guide you, maybe ask you a few probing questions, look at a situation that you maybe are looking at it over and over and over again, but that outside perspective can change everything. So it's easy for you to do because it's free to set up a discovery call with Aimee. Make sure you go to www.sheforcecoach.com and get 2022 in order so it can make it the best year of your life. Because guess what? You get to wake up tomorrow and live it anyways. All right, Aimee, thank you very much for being a guest on the program. Oh, I almost forgot. Our show is all about video testimonials. We love to give you a great experience, and you literally came to work with me today. We created content for you. So what was it like working with the Business Bros?
It's awesome. I love this setup. I love that you have this marketing mind as well. And the dialogue just flowed so easily. I really appreciate it. Love being here.
All right, one more. You've been doing some of these podcasts for a while. How did we compare?
Oh, I think you guys are right up there at the top. You guys did a great job getting it all put together, and then just feeling like I felt like I was in a room with you. This was nice and comfortable.
Good. As long as you were smiling and laughing and having fun, then I must have done the job right. All right, ladies and gents, get yourself squared away, healthy, wealthy, and wise as we welcome in 2022 this year. We'll see you guys again mañana. Peace, and we're out.
Thank you for listening to the Business Bros Podcast. Are you looking to get more clients or to increase your income? Hernan, the business bro, can help you generate referrals through the power of podcasting. And James, the insurance bro with Pipeline Insurance, can help you effectively add insurance to your existing business. If you are ready to create wealth today and generational wealth for tomorrow, email businessbros@csfirst.com to schedule a free consultation, or join the Business Bros Network, www.businessbros.biz.